All right, guys, we had to cover this because we talked about the friggin' submersible. Tragic situation. I don't want to downplay it, all the lives on board that were lost. But, there were a lot of warnings in advance that perhaps the hull of this submersible, the Titan, that was designed supposedly to go down and view the wreckage of the Titanic and go, really far underwater, that perhaps the materials this was constructed with were not sufficient for the immense amount of water pressure that comes to bear on these craft. So lo and behold, it turns out that the U.S. Navy apparently knew that the craft had spontaneously imploded and that all lives on board were lost, even as everybody here and significantly around the world were wondering about whether these individuals were still alive. The families were wondering if they were still alive. There was a countdown on when their oxygen would run out, and there was a huge mustering of resources footed, by the way, by the U.S. taxpayer to try to locate and rescue any potential survivors here. Put this up on the screen because it's really something. So this is after we had the news that, okay, they found a debris field. Okay, it looks like it was an implosion. It looks like no one survived. The U.S. Navy heard what it believed was the Titan implosion days ago. Underwater microphones designed to spot enemy submarines first detected the Titan tragedy. So this is Wall Street Journal reporting that, again, we did not get access to until after they had found the debris field and said, looks like no one survived. Let me read you a little bit of this article. They say a top secret military acoustic detection system designed to spot enemy submarines first heard what the U.S. Navy suspected was the Titan submersible implosion hours after the submersible began its voyage, officials involved in the search said. The Navy began listening for the Titan almost as soon as the sub lost communications. Shortly after the submersible's appearance on Sunday, the U.S. system detected what it suspected was the sound of an implosion near the debris site discovered Thursday and reported its findings to the Coast Guard commander on site, U.S. defense officials said. Now, here is their cope of why they didn't tell us or the families or the rescuers. I mean, they say they told the Coast Guard that was commanding the rescue here, but the public certainly had no idea. They say the Navy couldn't say definitively this sound came from the Titan. The discovery did play a role, though, in narrowing the scope of the search for the vessel before its debris was discovered on Thursday. Now, to get specific, they say they shared their findings with the Coast Guard immediately, which led the search. The U.S. held off making public what noise it had detected because it wanted to ensure search and rescue operations continued and couldn't say for sure it was an implosion. The families were informed Thursday of the Navy's findings when the search and rescue team discovered the debris field, according to a U.S. defense official.
So why did we wait 96 hours and string the entire U.S. public along on top of the media with
I just feel
this
bad
information?
For the families.
I feel bad for them, too.
Like, you know.
And look, honestly, it kind of suspects what I thought. The first time somebody asked me about it, I said, there's no way these people are alive. They're obviously dead. Especially whenever you look at the safety mechanism. And that's actually what all the data indicates, is that the contact was lost at 9,000 feet, and the sound was heard at the exact moment of that by these U.S. Navy sensors. Unfortunately, it looks like they, perished immediately. I guess one thing that you can keep in mind is that it happened at like literally a hypersonic speed because of how far down they were.
I'm glad that's the way that they went.
I agree.
Like of all the available options, that it was instantaneous, but horrifying.
But part of the problem is that the whole public was left to, basically imagine a scenario where they're alive and they're together and they don't have a toilet or a bathroom and all this, when the preponderance of evidence at the time was like they're almost certainly dead. As to they should have informed the families privately and just said, look, also, there's a lot of questions. Did we share this with foreign governments? I mean, how many millions of dollars were spent on getting rescue equipment to the site? I know that there was a French piece of machinery that was on its way. Multiple other governments were involved in sort of search and rescue. There was like an all hands on deck situation for people who were looking to try and to save this, when the stark reality is that it's almost certainly over and this is a debris recovery situation. Debris recovery is very different in terms of the level of money that you would spend, the resources, and then the family itself, giving them false hope for 4 days. And also, the mom of, for example, this 19-year-old, like, you got to give their peace and just like giving people hope, even for 96 hours. Like, she's never going to forget about that, that time where you could have just made it easier, at the time and just been like, look, here's what we heard. It's almost certain. It'd be a miracle if we ever find it.
It was truly cruel. And, they went public with these alleged banging noises.
That's the problem.
That they were hearing that, was giving people some modicum of hope that, maybe that's the sound of the survivors ramming the submersible against the wreckage to try to attract attention or whatever. So they went public with that. but not the much more conclusive evidence that basically the moment that contact was lost, there was this sound that very much appeared to be an implosion that was detected by the U.S. Navy. And, you know, there were a lot of warning signs about the construction of this craft. We played for you before the video game controller and the way this seemed to be really jerry-rigged together. The totally blasé attitude that the CEO of this company, who is expected to have perished aboard as well, that he took towards safety, the fact that they did not get it classed or inspected to make sure that it could withstand the extreme pressure of this level of, you know, deep sea diving, that they used materials, carbon fiber material that had never been tested before, that it was serious enough concerns that they had their own employee that was a whistleblower, that they had experts in the field that were routinely writing them letters expressing concerns about this. And listen, obviously, you know, there's a level of risk anytime you engage in one of these types of extreme activities. But actually, the deep sea diving technology has existed for quite a while. It's the industry has been very proud to be relatively accident-free and completely fatality-free. So, you know, this now is a sort of black mark on the whole industry. Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.